I should have known better than to buy anything from a thrift store on Friday the 13th. But the mirror was too beautiful to pass up. Ornate gold frame, Victorian style, only 15 bucks. The moment I saw my reflection, something felt off, like I was looking at myself through someone else's eyes. That night, I hung it in my bedroom. Big mistake. The first sign something was wrong came 3 days later. I was brushing my teeth, getting ready for work, when I noticed it in my peripheral vision. My reflection in the mirror. It was smiling, but I wasn't. I spun around, heart pounding, but the smile was gone. Just my own tired face staring back at me, toothbrush dangling from my mouth. I convinced myself it was lack of sleep, stress from work, but deep down, I knew something was watching me through that glass. By the end of the first week, the changes became impossible to ignore. My reflection looked older. Not by much, just subtle things. A few more lines around the eyes, skin a little paler, hair shade darker. I took a selfie on my phone and compared it to what I saw in the mirror. They didn't match. The mirror was showing me something else, something that wore my face but wasn't me. I started avoiding it, covering it with a bedsheet when I slept, but that didn't stop the feeling of being watched. Sometimes late at night, I'd hear scratching sounds coming from behind the cloth, like fingernails on glass. Desperate. Hungry. My girlfriend Emma noticed I was acting strange. When she came over, I made sure the mirror stayed covered, but curiosity got the better of her. While I was in the shower, she pulled the sheet off. "Babe," she called out, her voice shaking, "why do you have a picture of an old man in your mirror?" I ran into the bedroom, water still dripping from my hair. Emma was standing in front of the mirror, her face white as bone. I looked at the reflection. That's when I saw him clearly for the first time. It wasn't me. Not anymore. The thing in the mirror had my build, my posture, but the face was weathered and ancient. Sunken eyes, skin like old leather, and it was grinning at us with teeth too sharp to be human. Emma screamed and stumbled backward. The reflection didn't move with her. It stayed perfectly still, that awful smile never wavering, focused entirely on me. "We need to get rid of it," Emma said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Right now." But when I tried to take it down, my hands wouldn't cooperate. Every time I reached for the frame, my arms felt like they were moving through concrete. The thing in the mirror leaned forward, pressing its palm against the glass from the inside. I could see its breath fogging up the surface. That's when I heard it. A voice. My voice. But wrong. "You can't get rid of me. I've been waiting so long for a body, and yours is almost ready." Emma grabbed my arm and pulled me out of the room. We slammed the door shut, and I shoved my dresser in front of it. But that night, the scratching got louder, more violent. I could hear it clawing at the wood, trying to get out. I called everyone I could think of, paranormal investigators, a priest, even a psychic from 3 towns over. They all said the same thing. The mirror was a conduit. Something had been trapped inside it decades ago, feeding on anyone who looked into it, slowly stealing their life force, their youth, their identity. And I'd given it the perfect opportunity. The psychic told me there was only one way to break the connection. I had to destroy the mirror completely. But there was a catch. The moment the glass shattered, whatever was inside would be released, and it would have 60 seconds to find a new host. If I wasn't careful, it wouldn't be trapped anymore. It would be free. Emma wanted to run, leave the apartment, and never come back. But I couldn't let that thing escape into the world. I'd brought it home. This was my responsibility. I waited until midnight, the witching hour, when the barrier between worlds is thinnest. I grabbed a baseball bat and kicked open the bedroom door. The mirror was waiting for me, that ancient face pressed against the glass, watching with hungry eyes. Finally, it hissed, "Come closer." I didn't hesitate. I swung the bat with everything I had. The glass exploded into 1,000 pieces, and the room filled with the most horrific sound I'd ever heard, a scream that wasn't human, a scream of rage and hunger and freedom. The air turned ice cold, the lights flickered, and then I saw it, a shadow peeling itself off the wall, taking form. It looked exactly like my reflection, but older, decayed, wrong. It lunged at me. I barely managed to throw myself backward, scrambling toward the door. The thing moved with inhuman speed, its fingers like claws, reaching for my face, my throat, anything it could grab. I could feel its breath on my neck, cold and rotten. 60 seconds, that's all it had. I ran, through the hallway, down the stairs, Emma screaming behind me to move faster. The thing was right behind us, its footsteps echoing like thunder, getting closer and closer. 40 seconds. We burst through the front door and into the street. The entity stopped at the threshold, unable to cross. It stood there in the doorway, silhouetted against the light from inside, watching us with those hollow, hateful eyes. 20 seconds. "It can't leave the building," Emma gasped. "The mirror was its anchor. Without it, it's tethered to the space." 10 seconds. The thing opened its mouth and screamed again, a sound of pure fury. And then, as the clock struck 12:01, it began to dissolve, falling apart like ash in the wind, its form crumbling until there was nothing left but a scorch mark on the doorframe. We stood there in the street, shaking, barely able to breathe. It was over. The mirror was destroyed, the entity was gone. But here's the thing that keeps me up at night. Here's the part I can't stop thinking about. 3 days after we destroyed the mirror, I was walking past another thrift store, different part of town, completely random. And there, in the window display, was a mirror. Same ornate gold frame, same Victorian style, same $15 price tag. And when I looked at my reflection, it smiled at me, even though I wasn't smiling. I keep telling myself it's a coincidence, that there are lots of mirrors like that I'm just paranoid. But last night, Emma sent me a photo. She'd found the same mirror at a thrift store near her parents' house, 2 states away. The thing is, I don't think we destroyed it. I think we just moved it. And it's still out there, waiting in thrift stores and estate sales and antique shops, waiting for the next person to think they've found a bargain. So, if you ever see a mirror like that, ornate gold frame, too beautiful, too cheap, do yourself a favor. Walk away. Because some reflections aren't showing you who you are. They're showing you who you're about to become.